Cape Cod Broadcasting weaves the listening environments of 99.9 WQRC, Ocean 104.7, WFCC Classical 107.5, Cape Country 104, and CapeCon.com's website experience to reflect the lifestyles of the people who live, work, and play on Cape Cod. We hope that you enjoy this podcast.
I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal. I'm here in the studio with Joanne Westerhouse, president of the Sandwich Arts Alliance, and we're talking about this new group in Sandwich devoted to the arts. Joanne, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let's start with introducing you to our listeners. What is your background, and how did you get involved in the arts?
This got started because I was on a town committee for renovating the Clark Haddad building, and each meeting as we would go, the selectmen and town managers and architect would say, but what do you think we're going to use the building for? So we citizens would say, oh, great community center, cultural center. We could start it like they did the Cape Cod Cultural Center in Yarmouth. That's kind of our role model. And wouldn't it be great to have all these things there and Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts meeting and coffee hours on Friday nights with music? And then they say, great. Next meeting. Wonder what we're going to use the building for. So after about the third time, we came out of a meeting and said, what are we doing wrong that they're not hearing our voice? And so I finally figured out that the arts really had no voice in Sandwich. There was no organized group that could come forward and say, oh, we want that building. Here's what we need. Here's what we do. Here's our programming. And a friend of mine is a visual artist, and she's been wanting to start an arts association in Sandwich and just never really got it going. So she called a meeting of all the artists she knew. They'd been going to the Cultural Center in Yarmouth and renting space for shows. And I thought, what a shame. I went down there to see their show, and I thought, we should be doing this in Sandwich. So first we formed the visual artists and had that organizing meeting, and they said, okay, we're a go. We're going to start having monthly meetings. We're going to reach out and identify other artists. Because what we feel is there are so many artists around, but they're invisible. And they don't necessarily know how to get themselves together. They don't know how to be available to do shows. If somebody's doing a show at Town Hall and they say, oh, let's grab some artists, it's the 5 that they know. And here we have all these other wonderful artists that nobody knows about.
And, of course, Sandwich is so famous for its glass artists.
Right. So the visual arts group is actually 2- and 3-dimensional artists. So it's artists and artisans together. So we had Michael Magyar at our first meeting.
A very well-known glass artist.
Yes. June Kershaw, who runs the Collections Gallery on Jarvis Street and represents a number of artists and artisans. She's a high-end jewelry maker. We have sculptors. We have a lot of painters, photographers. That's a large group that I didn't realize in Sandwich. So the second step then was to say, well, how about literary arts, and then we'll go on to performing arts. So I contacted Christy Lawrence, who is a local writer who just finished publishing a book, Nature's Ambassador, about Thornton Burgess, our local guy. So she identified some writers, and I identified some that I knew. She knows some that are published, like Dean Coe and Jim Coogan, who have written children's books. But there are a large number who maybe have written books that haven't been published or are writing novels right now. And we found Heather Pennell, who has been running a writers group in Sandwich for over 17 years. And she said, how come people don't know about us? So we got that group together, and they now meet monthly. Then we moved on to performing arts. So if you're going to do that, first you think of Melinda Gallant, who puts on plays at Town Hall and gets tagged for all kinds of shows and things here in Cotuit. And she put together a group of performers that she knew. And they're both actors and musicians. The musicians component we're just starting to focus on a lot more. So we had that meeting, and they're a very dynamic, fun-loving bunch. So now they're meeting monthly. And so then at that point, we had one giant call for artists meeting at the library.
What I find so interesting is this all started with a building needed something to go in, and out of that has come numerous arts groups and this complete revitalization of the community of artists in Sandwich getting together.
The networking that's happened has been amazing. People say, oh, I've heard of you, but I wanted to meet you and I've never met you before. What if we do this and this together, your group and our group? And I'm finding a lot of synergy between the groups. In the writers group, they're saying, the kids at Sturgis wrote plays, but only one is going to be selected to be produced. What if we take the other plays, give it to the performing arts group, and have them put on a day of plays for us? And there's talk about doing things for all age groups. Why don't we have a writing workshop for kids, and then continue with them and mentor them one-on-one? Why don't we do things to nurture our new painters? From our first big separate artists event was this past Wednesday night over at the library. There was an artist circle sponsored by the Visual Arts Group. And this is basically a show and tell. So the artists could each bring one piece of work, describe what they did, how they did it, what their passions in life were. And so there was that wonderful sharing, but then all kinds of ideas came out of it. Why don't we have mentoring sessions? I'm a photographer. I'd like to bring my work. Can we get a critique group going? There was also a lot of sharing of backgrounds, and we found out probably a third of the group that night are former art teachers. And we said, aha, here's a wonderful opportunity to put some classes together for both kids and adults. And there's been a big gap with the community school gone, and there's just a wonderful need, I think, for art classes, writing classes, performing classes. We have a woman that comes that runs a drama school for kids. We have Steve Gregory from Score Music is a musician who's done all kinds of things for Sandwich, most of the time free, but also, we'd like to recognize his contribution in teaching all kinds of musical instruments and things like that. But he goes to Cotuit to teach classes because they have space. We need him doing things with our kids, with our adults in Sandwich.
So many new initiatives and ideas involved with this. I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal. I'm talking to Joanne Westerhouse, who is the new president of the new group, the Sandwich Arts Alliance. We're talking about this new initiative in Sandwich and what it has done to form all kinds of new sort of subgroups having to do with the arts. Now, Joanne, what are some of the projects the Arts Alliance would like to get involved with moving forward?
Right now, we're focusing on Sandwich Fest that's coming up. One of the things that I did early on was try to identify similar groups that might be interested in the arts and go talk to them about what we were and what we wanted to do. Right now, our database has about 170 artists just from Sandwich. So we want to be the resource for Sandwich. So if the Chamber's looking to do something, we want to talk to them. I went to meet with the trustees of Town Hall because they like to put on programs and promote the Town Hall. So the idea is come to us. You want to do an art show, come to us. So our members said, why don't we team with the Chamber first to launch our group? So when Sandwich Fest happens on Saturday, June 27th, we're going to be there and have our whole Arts Alliance together with some writers, some performers, musicians. We'll be over next to the old Thornton Burgess building, the Deacon Eldred building, all grouped together. We're also partnering with the Glasstown Cultural District. We met with them and said, aha, you do publicity and funding. We have the artists. It seems like such a perfect match to work together.
Absolutely. And, of course, Sandwich is one of 4 areas on the Cape to have one of these state-recognized arts districts, the the other ones are Hyannis, Barnstable Village, and Orleans. And so you've partnered with them because part of that, of course, is that they need arts activities going on as part of the cultural district. So that seems like a good match.
Right. It's perfect. Also, this fall, our next big Alliance-wide event will be when Cape Cod is sponsoring Fall for the Arts in October. The whole month of October is Arts Month. And on October 10th, we'll be having events in Sandwich that will involve an Arts in Motion show that's a demo of artists in Town Hall. We want to have an art show of the high school students. We've started hooking up with some of the faculty at the high school in music and art that are involved with the kids. And that seems such a great collaboration that we're doing now. So we'll be doing some high school art shows. We hope to do maybe some Shakespeare with the kids and the adults. There's a Forestdale teacher who's done a lot of programs with kids Shakespeare. So we're just putting that part of it together. But there will be a lot of individual programs going on by each of the groups. We think there's a need for small groups as well as the big group activities. The big group things are for the residents of Sandwich and for letting them know we exist. We've had musicians come into the Performers Arts monthly meetings saying, I moved here, didn't know how to hook up with other musicians, so I thought I'd come here tonight and see how we go about doing this. And so that's been wonderful for people coming forward and getting involved. There are people who have written plays but haven't had a chance to do them. There are producers who would like to produce them.
Now, for people like that in the community, whether they are a painter, a musician, someone who wants to get involved in theater, how do they find out when the individual groups are meeting, and can anyone go to those meetings?
Oh, yes. Everything's open to the public. And it's not just for Sandwich artists. We already have artists from other towns come join, because usually they're members of multiple organizations, and that just makes us richer, I think. Right now, we're almost have our website and Facebook page live, and they should go live within the next week, but it'll be sandwichartsalliance.org is our website. And the Facebook will just be Sandwich Arts Alliance.
And people will be able to find the meeting times and locations. Where do the groups typically meet? Do they meet in public buildings or in people's homes?
In public buildings, but that's kind of highlighted our need for space, because we use Library Room 2, and then there's Library Room 2, and the fallback is Library Room 2, because that's what we have in Sandwich. But we also sometimes meet at First Church of Christ. We also meet at the Stoneman York Classroom at the Stoneman Outpatient Center. They've been wonderful at letting us meet there. So we've been meeting at different places around town, but we have set dates and times for the different groups, and that'll be on the website.
Now that you've organized all kinds of groups of artists in town, how do you then move forward and request that you would like to turn this building into an arts and cultural center?
Our focus started on the group itself, and I think that still has to be the main focus, is this group, what it wants to do in programming. By the way, wouldn't it be nice if we had a home? In looking at Clark Haddad Building, I realized in the past month that was way too small. It has no theater. It doesn't have enough land to expand. At the same time, the Wing School had a public forum on what are we going to do with it when it closes in June. And our group got very excited about this because we said it already has an auditorium. It has classroom buildings. It has space. It has parking. And it's so centrally located for all the residents to come. It has fields that we can use. So we organized ourselves and went as a group to the public forum. It was almost 2 weeks ago now. And we spoke up as a group and said the Arts Alliance would really, really like to be in there and using it for all our productions, for everything we have to give back to the community, but also to nurture the new artists of all ages. But The key thing, I think, is whether a group can be sustainable or not. Art is looked at as fluff, and my background in industries tells me no, that doesn't have to be the case. This can be sustainable. The Cape Cod Cultural Center is definitely sustainable, is profitable, is growing all the time. And so our message is we think it should be a community cultural center at Wing School that has profit and nonprofit both. We could picture being in there along with the Council of Aging, Parks and Rec, senior housing. There are groups that have live-work artist studios, so people would be renting space there. Solar panels on the roof to offset the energy and maybe give back to the grid and give us some profit there. There's a fiber optic cable, and somebody suggested in the paper recently that it could be a tech incubator. Well, that might be one part of it. But I see all these groups working together. There should be a cafeteria, a bistro. There's a professional kitchen in there that could be for caterers to rent space. But there are all these things that could pay for the building. It's going to be really expensive. But my thought is to do it in phases so that the first group goes in, starts making money, starts raising funds, and then you identify the second phase. And then you get that going, have somebody for profit come in, and then that money goes to the next phase. But meanwhile, you can be in there right away. What we don't want is a building that's closed up and locked up for 10 years while we're trying to raise money. That doesn't make sense. We can be in there right away and start turning profit and turn it back to the next phase, the next phase.
Lots of big ideas for this building. Do you know what's next in terms of town officials and how they expect to deal with this? Are there public meetings?
Yes, there are 2 more public forums that are going to happen. They don't have dates set for them, but at the next one they'll be telling us what things cost. And we're hoping they break it down by area. Ironically, the oldest part of the building is in the best shape, the 1927 original school. And there might be a couple of wings that are unsafe and should be demolished, but mostly we want to look at the old school and start getting it used and then decide. So we're hoping the architects will come back to us with an area by area. What would it cost to renovate this area? Is that cost effective or not? What would it take for this area? Cost effective or not? And then we're going to them. They've asked us to give us requirements, space requirements, so that we can say, well, we'd like 10 classrooms, a stage, this, and this. And if each group does that are stakeholders, I would love to see a citizens committee formed that has a member from each of these organizations in it. The town has said it would like to add a couple of people to their committee, but I think we need like a whole committee of maybe 12 to 20 people that meet, decide space requirements, decide are you for profit or not, and then attack it that way and send a couple of reps to the town meeting.
And unfortunately, we're out of time.
Okay, people can contact us at sandwichartsalliance@gmail.com to get membership.
I've been talking to Joanne Westerhouse of the Sandwich Arts Alliance. Joanne, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Well, thank you for giving me the chance to chat with you.
I'm Laura Reckford, and this is Sunday Journal.
This podcast is a presentation of Cape Cod Broadcasting, which is solely responsible for its content. Thank you for listening. For more information, please visit us at capecodbroadcasting.com.